Hello. This is training 21. Make achieving your career goals easy. And if you don't know me, I'm Meredith Hawley. I am a lawyer, power dynamics facilitator, and bestselling author. And I am having a whole light situation happen over here. It's pretty bright in this room. So I have talked to a lot of people recently who say that they're looking for their passion. They're just not sure what their passion is, or they feel dissatisfied with the job that they're in and they know that they're meant for more, but they kind of feel stuck, or like now's not the right time to move towards their dream goal. And I think a lot of us can identify with this, right? I think a lot of us feel burnt out in our jobs, and we feel dissatisfied with our jobs, and we're either sort of like waiting to find our passion, or we have the vision of our passion, but we can't see how to go forward with it. Like, it feels scary to go for the passion goal, right? It feels like a threat to our job now. Often our jobs, even when they're dissatisfying or exhausting, feel stable, right? We feel like we're in a stable place, and that going for a passion is unstable. But then a lot of times we're also under earning at the same time. We know we should be making more money, for example, but we're not. We're afraid that if we go for the passion, if we try to make more money, if we even go for a promotion, it will just exhaust us more, and we already feel so burnt out and kind of dissatisfied that we don't even want to try, right? So being in this place, it makes sense that we don't go for our goals, right? When we're in a place where we feel stuck, when we're in a place where we feel dissatisfied, but we're either waiting to find our passion, or we feel like going for our passion is a threat to our security, it makes sense that we don't go forward. And I was talking to a client earlier today, and she was saying, that going forward towards her dream just sounds exhausting. And she just wants to take a little bit of time, a little more time to rest and recover and take care of herself. And the interesting thing about all of this is I see this pretty consistently, that we often look at our passions as both exciting and exhausting. Like, we don't want to have to do the hard, exhausting thing to follow our passions, and it feels easier to stay where we are. But I want to suggest to you that actually it could be easier to follow your passion, to both find your passion and then follow your passion and fulfill it, than what we're already doing now. What we're doing now, when we feel dissatisfied, when we feel exhausted at work, when we feel like we have to work harder and take more time in order to make more money, that is harder almost always than finding our passions and going for them. And the reason is that the exhaustion and the dissatisfaction and the feeling burnt out is not created by our external environments. It's not inherent in our external environments. We all have decision-making power in what we choose to do in our work environments, right? So when we are telling ourselves that our jobs aren't satisfying, that we're not making enough money, that we need to get more qualifications, that we need to work harder to make more money, this is actually optional, and it's a story in itself, no matter what your job is. And it is so exhausting to believe that we have to exhaust ourselves in order to achieve our goals, right? Of course, we won't achieve our goals if we have to exhaust ourselves to do it, if we have to struggle into them. But I want to suggest that achieving our goals can always be easier than what we're doing now. So when we're looking at a dream passion, when we're looking at a dream goal, it is possible to have that be easier than what we're doing now. And I don't mean easier in the sense of like we just lay around all day and like eat McDonald's or something like that, right? That's not what I mean by easy, but I mean that any of the place that we're in that is like dissatisfaction, burnt out in our jobs, that feels hard. And a lot of times what we want to do is we want to become more and more and more dissatisfied until we justify leaving our jobs, right? But really that just punishes us. And you can choose something new from a place of passion just as like more easily, not just as easily, more easily than from a place of dissatisfaction. When we practice dissatisfaction, when we have to make things worse and worse and worse before we leave, then we're still left with that dissatisfaction in the end. And often pursuing our passions, that in itself does not eliminate the dissatisfaction and the burnout that we've already put into our lives, that we've already practiced in our lives. So there's always like, so this concept that I want to teach you, I'm calling the 1 minute leadership. It's 1 minute leadership in your career. And so it's very simple, and it's based in the 1 Minute Manager book, if you know this, but that one's particularly directed towards managing other people. And 1 minute leadership, I want you to think about in terms of your own career. And so the first step in 1 minute leadership in your career is deciding on a measurable goal. And this should be a goal that you can say in one sentence with no commas. It should be measurable in the sense that you know yes or no if you've accomplished this goal, right? It should be something exciting to you, but also even within your work now, you want to even if your work now seems dissatisfying or seems like it's not lighting you up, right? You still want to be setting measurable goals that you can know if you can achieve it or not achieve it in one sentence with no comments. So for example, in our business, we have a goal around how many consults come into our business every month, around how many clients we have every month, and it's a number. If this could be a number, that's the best way to do this. You want to set a number goal that you can know yes or no if you've achieved it. And the reason for this is a lot of times when we're feeling terrible in our jobs, when we're feeling dissatisfied, unappreciated, disrespected in our jobs, a lot of times it's because we aren't giving ourselves credit and ourselves appreciation for the work that we are accomplishing, right? If you work for somebody else, you want to know what their goal is and how you can create that into something measurable for you. But you need to know it for yourself. Answer this question for yourself. Don't expect, if you work for somebody else, double check your goal with them, but you create your measurable goal in your career. Right? And so the measurable goal in what you're doing can be to get a promotion. It can be to get a new job. It can be to make a certain amount of money. But then also you want to know the content of what creates that, right? So if you want to get a promotion, what is the gap that you're filling in your job for your employer that's going to lead to that promotion that's valuable to them, right? Have that agreement ahead of time, know it ahead of time. Don't be putting more work in, expecting to get reward later. Have an actual measurable goal and agreement. Okay, so this is the first step, make it measurable. Know what your measurable goal is. And the second step is every month at least, if not every week, we do this every week in our team meeting, celebrate something that you've done. Acknowledge yourself for the progress that you've made already, right? So reward yourself even, like take yourself out to a movie. Do something that celebrates the progress that you have made so that it doesn't become so discouraging and like the goal is constantly moving. Give this to yourself. Give yourself a reward for the progress you've made. Acknowledge and be honest about the progress you've made. Also be honest about what didn't work, right? What you want to shift later. But be honest about both the progress that you've made, the measurable progress that you've made, and be honest about what didn't work and you want to shift later, right? So that's the second. So measurable goal at the end of every week or at the at the end of every month, probably both, right? Celebrate what the progress that you've made, be honest about the progress that you've made, and be honest about what needs to shift to make even more progress. And then third, know why you are doing each task you're doing at the beginning of the week and how it's going to contribute to your goal. Eliminate things in your life, tasks in your life that are busy work. Eliminate things in your process that are dragging on the energy that you want to use towards your goal. A lot of times we justify a bunch of busy work. So an example of this is I asked a client one time what her intention for the week was, and she said, my intention for the week is to put in 5 job applications. Now, the thing that I noticed in that is her intention for the week was not to get a job. She could put in 100 job applications, she could put in 2 job applications, but putting in job applications is not necessarily useful if she's not thinking towards the job that she wants to get, if she's not focused on that. So we want to know the goal, the measurable goal, and not just be assigning ourselves with tasks that make it seem like we're busy all the time, right? Because busy does not mean that you're accomplishing your goals. Often we use busy as like a fake badge of honor, like as though busy is an advantage. Busy usually means that we are not being intentional or smart about our goals, right? So you want to eliminate tasks that are actually taking energy away from the goals that you want to create. Every time you say yes to something that is not contributing to your goal, it's potentially stealing from your goal. So take this seriously. So these are the 3 steps. First, make a goal that is measurable. Make this goal for yourself. You can have multiple goals that are measurable, but you in general want to be going in one direction. So for example, in our business, we have the goal of serving 100 people this year, right? Of making $1 million in revenue and serving 100 people this year. So we also have goals of how many consults we want to have each month, of how many clients we want to have each month. And each of these is measurable towards the ultimate goal, right? So first, it's measurable. Second, make sure you are evaluating your progress as to the measurable goal. Celebrate the progress you've made at the end of every week, and then celebrate at the end of every month the progress that you made in that month. Be honest about what didn't work, but also be honest about the progress you've made. Make it math, make it measurable, and celebrate it. Motivate yourself. And then the third is eliminate tasks that are not contributing towards that goal. Don't indulge in the idea that being busy means that you're being productive or that you're achieving your goal. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't contribute to your goal, it potentially steals from your goal. Okay, guys, send me any of your questions that you have about any of this. Go achieve your goals. You're amazing. And thank you so much for watching.